What's up, bodybuilding fans? Dave Palumbo here with another RX Muscle news update. The IFBB Cal Pro is now in the history books, and Nathan DeAsha is the newest champion. He repeats his victory from New York in Cal, goes 2 for 2, and brings quite a different look to the stage in California. You know, a lot of people felt that the New York Pro could have been either way. It could have gone to Juan Morel or Nathan DeAsha. They felt that Nathan's conditioning was not as good as it could have been. They felt his legs were better, and he just narrowly edged out Juan Morel, you know, and by 1 point or something like that. So that was a very close contest. The Nathan DeAsha we saw here in California was light years ahead of what we saw in New York. He looks like he went on the Reagan Grimes 22 pounds of water loss diet, and he really dried out. He brought that grainy conditioning that we are used to seeing from Nathan. He wasn't obviously as heavy, but weight doesn't mean anything. It's what you look like on stage, and we know conditioning wins shows. He convincingly wins in my mind in this show, and the scorecards indicate the same unanimous first place votes across the board. And Nathan, you know, coasts to an easy victory, especially since Juan Morel wasn't in the show. That made it that much easier because Juan seemed to be the guy who could really push Nathan to the limit because they kind of match up really well body part for body part and structure-wise. So Nathan comes in here, collects another victory. Didn't need it, obviously, but it didn't hurt. He was in shape already. He had come over from the UK. He won on both coasts now, East and West Coast. And he pretty much is going to be going into the Olympia now with a lot of momentum on his side. And if you look at the footage, you can see that Nathan is obviously bringing tremendous conditioning, you know, from the front and the back, glutes, hamstrings, lower back. You know, his back is great. He's got that Livroni upper body. He's got the big pecs, huge arms. He really doesn't have many weaknesses. Can he be bigger? Yeah, he's got a big frame. He could fill it out for certain, but I think he's a solid, in my mind, he might be a solid top 6 Olympian this year if he can really bring this conditioning to the stage. Really, the show is really being fought out by the 2nd through 5th place contestants. And Sas Heirati, I think, really established himself as a guy who's serious, who's got some serious mass on him, who can bring conditioning to the stage consistently, and that's something a lot of these other bodybuilders can't do. Krista Cedar works with him, of course. Last year, I thought his placings were less than fair. I thought he got a bad look at a lot of shows. But Heirati comes in here, and, you know, obviously if Nathan's not here, he wins, you know, and they're both guys from the UK. I think this was a great showing for him. I think he should probably, I don't know if he is, I think he should definitely go to Toronto next week because he's in the United States already anyway. He's on a roll. He brought maybe the best conditioning in the class. He's got great muscle size. Did he challenge Nathan? I don't know, you know, because Nathan's just in another league above him, but he was close. It wasn't like it was a runaway. Certainly conditioning-wise, they matched up really well. And I think Sas has got to be very happy with this second place, essentially, you know, besting the entire field except for, you know, this Nathan, who is a top 7 Olympian. Now, in third place, Rafael Brandao from Brazil probably is the surprise bodybuilder of the year. You know, you think about what happened in New York. Here's a guy that a lot of people felt should have been higher than he was. He was 4th there. And people felt that he should have been in the 3rd position, myself included. Now, the Brandao we see here in California is not as good as the guy we saw in New York. His conditioning is not as crisp. Yeah, he's a little bigger and fuller, rounder. He looks bigger on stage for certain. But I don't think that works for him. I think, you know, at this point, you can't be playing size game by giving up conditioning. Had he come in here as conditioned as New York, I don't know if he would have beat Sas anyway. I don't know. So I think the gamble to fill him out a little bit more was probably worth it. And obviously that's another Krista Cedar protege there. So I think Brandao pretty much maximized what he's going to do. 3rd place here is spectacular. He's certainly the dark horse of the New York Pro and the Cal Pro. And I think that a lot of people are going to take notice of this guy. If he could bring up his muscle mass, the sheer mass on his entire body over the next, 12 months or so, I think he'll be someone who's really, really dangerous next year. Now, in the 4th position is poor Josh Wade. Josh Wade is probably the most consistent guy on stage over the last 2 years. I mean, he's bringing tremendous size. He brings tremendous conditioning. There's no stone he's leaving unturned. He actually, I mentioned this on a radio show, he's starting to look like Dorian Yates in the face. I don't know why. And he's not even from the UK. He's from California. But Josh just is bringing, everything he's got to do. And he's beating guys who have better structures than him and who are more genetically gifted than him because he's outworking these guys. And I love to see that. It reminds me of myself in a sense. And I think he's getting rewarded. Top fives at pro shows are not easy accomplishments, and Josh is doing well. Once again, he's got 3 guys ahead of him here who just structurally are better than him, and he'll never beat those guys in the lineup unless they come in off. When guys come in off, Josh steps in there and he beats them, and that's what he's been doing over the last 2 years. And I think people are really taking him seriously now. In a couple shows, I think we could have seen him higher. A lot of people have argued for that. So congratulations to 4th place Josh Wade, and to be in that top call out is a real feather in your cap. After Josh, then now the level of conditioning drops off dramatically, and we start seeing problems with people. Lionel Beyeke once again 5th place, but we're waiting for this guy to show up in shape. I don't know if it'll ever really happen, but Beyeke's just not a factor in this top 4 group at this Cal Pro. So in recap, Nathan DeAsha once again establishes himself as the guy to beat, the man who's cleaning up these, I guess you could say mid-season shows, and he'll go back to the UK now and train at his own gym that he just opened and prepare for the Olympia. So congratulations to all the winners and all the top placers, and thanks of course for all your support. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and turn on your notifications, because this way whenever we put up a new video. Dave Palumbo with another RX Muscle News Update.